when we look back at Sam Presti's history, he takes the job in 2007 when they're in Seattle and goes through an entire rebuild. And now look what he has to rebuild this team. 8 future first-round picks, not including their own. Okay, so their own picks plus 8 more, and pick swaps with both the Clippers and with Houston. And he was very strategic in getting the picks in 2024 and 2026. That's a long time from now. But the reason you go a long time from now is those actually might be valuable then. Sam Presti did this in 2007 when he traded all those guys away and started the rebuild around the 3 young players. Remember, he traded Ray Allen, and then he went and traded Rashard Lewis. This drafted Kevin Durant, traded Ray Allen to the Celtics, traded Rashard Lewis to the Magic, and that pick ended up becoming Serge Ibaka. He's been here before. This, in a lot of ways, is maybe where he's most comfortable.
And how many titles did they end up with? That's the problem. You talk about Sam Presti, and he's made a hell of a lot of good basketball deals. They finished with no titles and even more. Guys, we live in an era where the draft is more of a crapshoot than it's ever been. So I look at that list and I go, okay, you got a lot of picks. Great. What happens next? The only way I think all of those picks turn into a success is if Sam Presti can do what he has done before in taking all these assets and finding a star or finding a couple stars down the line. But when I look at those draft picks, I go, okay, nobody knows what happens with the draft anymore. And throughout the league, you're never sure what's going to go on, even when you have a boatload of picks.
And even if you do everything right, if he catches lightning in a bottle once again and drafts future MVPs, why are they going to stay in Oklahoma City?
Bingo.
You have an owner who doesn't want to go into the luxury tax. You have a small market where, clearly it doesn't have the creature comforts that some other places do in this league. And if you're Sam Presti, you have a tough time getting free agents to come there too. So if I'm Sam, I understand he's done a great job and he commands the salary cap, great negotiator. You try to get to a city where you don't have those hurdles to deal with.
So,
I'd be called, hopefully, Washington Wizards, you watching this, call up Sam Presti.
So there are different skill sets in the NBA as a general manager. There's a skill set that requires you to draft well, identify talent, and then develop them into great NBA players. There's another skill set that says you need to be able to create a culture in your organization where whatever players you draft fit into that culture. Then there's the skill set that says you know what to put around them and how to grow stars and build a team around stars. Sam Presti's been great at drafting and developing, great at setting a culture, keeping stars happy, winning with those stars, surrounding them with the right collection of talent. They never could quite get right there. How much is that on him? How much of that is just bad luck? They had injuries at the wrong time. Klay Thompson, Game 6. No further explanation. Kevin Durant leaves. But this is where they're back to, and it's a long runway with a lot of picks to help them do it.
But, Ramona, they had 10 years to do it, and they didn't. And that's the issue. I go back to something Neil O'Shea said last week in Vegas during Damian Lillard's press conference. He said, we live in an era now where it's much more about market over team. And so 10 years ago, oh, my gosh, Sam Presti's hitting on these draft picks. That's great. Nobody wanted to stay in Oklahoma City. Russ Westbrook did, but he's not the same player anymore. So this goes back to exactly what Dave is saying. If you're Sam Presti and you have all these picks and all these assets, great. But who is staying there long term? Who is going to choose Oklahoma City and potentially that culture over playing in LA or New York or another big market? That would be my issue now for the Thunder. You had your chance, you didn't do it, and now you're relying on the same strategy and hoping that you can catch not only lightning in a bottle with the picks you make, but with guys who want to be in your small market for a long time.
So I'll push back on this, though.
Stretch.
10 years of contending, 10 years of having star players fill up that arena and being in the game, and at some point you have to put it in their hands. At some point it's on Kevin Durant and his legacy there, on Russell Westbrook and his legacy there, on James Harden and his legacy there. They had 3 MVPs, 3 Hall of Famers, and they didn't win. And some of that you learn lessons from. I think if Sam were to go back and do it over again, I don't know that Harden trade happens the way that it does. Maybe it's configured a little differently. Maybe you emphasize shooting earlier. There's things that worked out for them well. There's things that did. But you get another crack at this, and it's a long runway here. We're talking about 2026. I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow. I don't know if it'll be at 6 o'clock tonight. 2026 are these draft picks. But they've hit on draft picks, and this is what they've shown to be good at. 10 years is a good long run.
Masai Ujiri looks at your graphic and laughs, Ramona, because all it takes is that one guy and building around in that one moment. And the Thunder had all that time to make their case, get their title, and it never happened. Is that all on Sam Presti? Of course not. But you make the moves you need to make, and you hope it comes together. Toronto did that, and this is a bottom-line business in the league. It is all about titles. That's why when you look back at the legacy of this group, sure, they won a lot. There's no title. So how can you say, oh, this is a huge success? This is all about finding ways to get to the top. Toronto did it. Now they have to break it down. But no matter what happens till the end of time, they'll have that banner because of what they accomplished.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that reminds me of a team that's near and dear to your heart. Penny and Shaq Magic, no ring. Chris Webber, Kings, no ring. Steve Nash, Suns, no ring. Some of the best teams to ever play in this league to not actually get the ultimate prize. That's the legacy of this group. And that's why Sam Presti, even after regrouping, pulling off the coup of coups, trading for Paul George, getting him to re-sign.
Getting him to stay, right.
He stays, and then he wants out.
Exactly, and that's the problem. It's a cool 30 for 30 team. It's not a cool team that's going to be remembered forever as a title team. And that is always going to be the difference in the NBA, and that's why if you're a Thunder fan today, I'd be really sad, because it's not that Presti can't do a nice job and rebuild you back into some kind of contention. It's that you had 10 years of all these guys in their prime or close to it, and you never found a way to finish it off.
Man, and Dave's advocating for Sam to be just like Kevin Durant, leaving free agency.
Yes. Go find yourself a better situation, Sam. You're too good. Take my boy Troy Weaver with you.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For highlights and analysis, check out the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, check out ESPN+.